Life is a continuous series of choices and reactions. Do you believe that? When troubles arise, does your inner turmoil lead you to wise decisions, or do they push you toward actions that bring more loss and struggle? We need to learn how to respond in alignment with God's will and receive the victories He has planned for us. Let's take a look at how C.S. Lewis explores the ways we can train ourselves to embrace whatever life brings our way. Have you ever felt the world pressing down on you, as if every small misstep seems to build up into something overwhelming? Perhaps you've wondered how much more you can bear. I've felt it too, and it's something many of us experience. But what if I told you that there's a way to rise above it all? A way to release the constant frustrations and struggles that pull us down day after day? It's a simple idea, though not always easy to practice. Learn to act as though nothing bothers you. Now you might be thinking, that sounds easier said than done. And in truth, it does take time and patience. But let me assure you, this is a skill worth developing. Imagine being able to stay calm, composed, and even smiling, no matter the chaos happening around you. By doing so, you're sending a powerful message to yourself and the world. I am in control of my peace, and external events cannot shake it. Take a moment to think about the people you admire. Maybe it's a leader who stands strong in adversity, an emergency responder who handles crises with grace, or an athlete who performs under immense pressure. What do they all have in common? They've trained themselves not to react impulsively to every situation, no matter how stressful. They've mastered the art of maintaining their inner calm. This doesn't mean they don't feel stress or frustration. Of course they do. They are human, just like you and me. But what sets them apart is their ability to let those feelings pass through without holding on to them. Just like clouds drifting across the sky, they allow emotions to move, acknowledging them, but not dwelling on them. They avoid getting trapped in a cycle of negativity. One way to begin practicing this in your own life is by paying close attention to your thoughts when things go wrong. Do you immediately jump to the worst-case scenario? Do you blame yourself or others when challenges arise? These thoughts only add to the stress. Instead, try to pause. Catch yourself before you spiral. Reframe the situation with a more balanced perspective. For example, imagine you've spent hours preparing a special dinner for your family, only to accidentally burn the main dish right before everyone arrives. The panic sets in. Thoughts flood your mind. How could this happen? This is going to ruin the evening. But instead of letting those emotions spiral, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, it's okay. I'll pivot and make something else, or we'll laugh about it together. This small setback won't define the night or steal the joy of being with my loved ones. Imagine you've planned the perfect weekend picnic, but as soon as you arrive at the location, it starts to rain heavily. The discouraging thought creeps in. This is awful. We'll have to go back. But instead of letting that ruin your day, pause, take a deep breath, and think differently. Remind yourself that the rain is just a small factor. You could find shelter, share funny stories, or even enjoy playing in the rain. Sometimes the imperfections make the most memorable experiences. Now imagine you're giving an important presentation to your colleagues, and suddenly the projector breaks down halfway through. Anxiety kicks in. How can I go on? Everything's ruined. But instead of panicking, take a deep breath and remember that this is just a minor setback. You can adapt by using printed materials or delivering the rest of your presentation with confident speech, engaging your audience even more than relying on technology. This flexibility might even make you appear more composed and professional. It's about facing the reality of the situation without piling on extra layers of stress. Acting as though nothing bothers you doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect or suppressing your true feelings. It's quite the opposite. It's about growing your capacity to handle life's challenges with grace and resilience. As C.S. Lewis teaches, it's not about denying life's difficulties, but about finding a peace that goes beyond the external storms. In moments of frustration or chaos, we have a choice: to allow those feelings to overwhelm us, or to center ourselves in God's strength, trusting that His peace is enough to carry us through. So how will you choose to respond next time life doesn't go as planned? Will you let the small frustrations steal your joy, or will you practice letting them go, trusting that you are held by something far greater? Think of your mind as a calm, still lake. When a stone is tossed into the water, ripples spread across the surface, disturbing the stillness. But soon the lake settles, and the water returns to its natural state of calm. Our minds, too, can be like that, able to take life's disruptions without being permanently unsettled. A truly serene heart knows how to let the disturbances pass without holding on to them. By practicing this mindset, you are not only protecting your peace, but also deepening your trust in God's greater plan. Each situation, no matter how frustrating, becomes an opportunity to grow in patience, to let go of control, and to rest in the knowledge that God's hand is at work, even in the small moments of life. In every moment of our lives, we are given a choice. While we may not always control what happens to us, we do have the power to control how we respond. We can choose to meet challenges with frustration, anger, or despair, or we can take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and approach the situation with calm. Life's minor annoyances don't need to steal our joy. Instead, we can choose to keep things in perspective, reminding ourselves of what truly matters. Of course, this doesn't mean that we should suppress our emotions or pretend they don't exist. God created us to feel, to experience the full spectrum of human emotions, from joy and love to sadness, anger, and even pain. These feelings are part of what makes life rich and meaningful. The goal is not to eliminate them, but to develop a healthy relationship with them, to ensure that they don't take over, clouding our judgment and leading us away from clear thinking. When we focus only on what is going wrong, we miss the beauty and grace that still surrounds us. We overlook the small moments of kindness, the quiet blessings, and the things we can be grateful for, even in times of hardship. A resilient mind, however, learns to see both the good and the bad, holding them in balance and maintaining perspective. This shift in mindset doesn't come overnight. Like any new habit or skill, it takes practice, and it begins with the small things. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when your coffee order isn't quite right, or when your children are squabbling for the 100th time that day, these moments become opportunities to practice patience. Notice when you begin to feel stressed or upset, take a breath and consciously choose a calmer, more centered response. As you start to flex this mental and spiritual muscle, you'll notice a change. What once rattled you will now seem more manageable. You will become less reactive, more thoughtful, and better equipped to navigate the ups and downs of life with clarity and grace. This inner peace will not only transform your own life, but will ripple outward, touching those around you. Have you ever noticed how someone else's stress can affect your mood? When we carry inner turmoil, it often spreads to others, even without us realizing it. Think back to a time when you were around someone who was highly anxious or negative. Chances are you felt the tension too. But now imagine how it feels to be around someone who radiates calm, even in the midst of difficulty. That sense of peace is contagious in the most beautiful way. By learning to maintain your own inner balance, you become a source of comfort and strength for others. You show what is possible when we stop listening to the chaos around us and instead tune into the quiet wisdom and strength that God has placed within us. By cultivating this ability, you become a force for good in the world. You show others how to rise above the noise, how to choose grace over drama, and how to live with resilience in the face of pressure. In doing so, you contribute to a world that values peace, grace, and perseverance, qualities that reflect God's love in every moment. Let me be absolutely clear. Acting as though nothing bothers you does not mean accepting mistreatment or turning a blind eye to injustice. It does not mean staying silent when the right thing to do is to speak up, or avoiding the need to set healthy boundaries. There's a vast difference between being calm in the face of small irritations and standing firm for what is just and good. A remarkable example of staying composed in the face of deep adversity can be found in the life of C.S. Lewis, particularly during the heartbreaking loss of his beloved wife, Joy Davidman. After Joy passed away following a painful battle with cancer, Lewis was consumed by grief. Yet instead of letting sorrow overwhelm him, he turned to his faith and sought comfort in God's plan. In his book, A Grief Observed, Lewis openly grappled with his pain, but through this process, he reaffirmed his belief in God's greater purpose, even when it seemed incomprehensible. His strength was not just in the words he wrote, but in his ability to continue living with patience and hope. Rather than allowing despair to define him, Lewis faced his suffering with honesty, while still holding on to his trust in God. This echoes the story of Job in the Bible, a man who endured unimaginable loss but never abandoned his faith. Both Lewis and Job demonstrate that true peace comes from within, rooted in a deep trust in God's plan, no matter how painful or challenging life becomes. These stories remind us that even in our darkest moments, we can find strength and resilience by surrendering to God's wisdom and embracing the hope that He provides. Most of us, fortunately, may never encounter the level of hostility or danger that these leaders faced, but their example teaches us an invaluable lesson. We can choose to be guided by our deepest values rather than being swept up in minor conflicts. We can practice responding to negativity with love and patience, not allowing ourselves to be dragged into the same destructive energy. We can stand firm in our convictions, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. This kind of inner strength, this ability to stay rooted and unmoved by fleeting troubles, is the mark of a truly free and resilient spirit. When we are constantly being thrown off balance by every little storm in life, we are not tapping into true power. True strength lies in remaining grounded, no matter what swirls around us. Think of a great tree with deep roots. When a storm comes, its leaves may be battered and its branches may sway, but its trunk stands firm and its roots hold it steady. We too can cultivate this kind of inner stillness. We cannot prevent the storms of life from coming, but we can grow our own inner stability, allowing us to face them with grace. One of the most effective ways to develop this inner calm is by gaining perspective. So often we become consumed by minor frustrations, blowing them out of proportion, losing sight of what truly matters. Gratitude is the antidote to this narrow focus. When we take a moment to appreciate the blessings in our lives, it's like shifting the lens on a camera to a wider view. The small annoyance may still be there, but it fades in the light of all the goodness that surrounds us. We remember what a gift it is to be alive, to be loved, to have opportunities to grow and contribute. Gratitude doesn't deny the struggles we face. It isn't about covering up pain with a forced smile. Instead, it allows us to recognize that even in our darkest moments, there is still light, still goodness to be found. It teaches us to see reality in its fullness, not just through the lens of what's broken. By embracing this perspective, we develop a resilience that carries us through life's challenges, anchored in faith and a deep appreciation for all that we have been given. One way to keep life's small troubles in check is to remember the strength that resides within you, the resilience you've already proven time and again. Reflect for a moment on the challenges you faced, the hardships that have knocked you down but not kept you down. You're still here. You're still standing, despite everything. You've survived every difficult day up to now. That's not something to take lightly. We often underestimate our ability to endure, thinking we can't handle the discomfort or chaos that life throws at us. But the truth is, we are handling it every single day in both big and small ways. Each time you push through a moment of pain, each time you rise after a failure, or find the courage to speak up in a hard conversation, you're proving that you have the strength to meet life's challenges with grace. The more we remind ourselves of this inner power, the more confident we become in our ability to weather life's storms. It's like a growing trust, a deepening belief that even when we're shaken, we will eventually find our balance again. This confidence builds on itself. The more we believe we can handle difficulties with calm, the more calmly we actually face them. But let's be real. No one is asking you to be unshaken all the time. We're human. We will have moments where frustration, fear, or anxiety gets the best of us. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's about practicing resilience. The more we stretch this muscle, the stronger it becomes. That doesn't mean we won't feel the strain of life's challenges. It simply means those difficult moments become opportunities for growth. When we're knocked off balance, it reveals where we still have room to grow. It shines a light on the thoughts and triggers that tend to pull us in, giving us the chance to work through them. Every great spiritual teacher, from Jesus to the saints, has taught the importance of self-awareness for this very reason. It is the cornerstone of transformation. We can't change the things we don't acknowledge. We must be brave enough to look within, to observe our emotional patterns without judgment. This requires humility. It's not always comfortable to face our own tendencies toward reactivity or to admit where we've been wrong. Our ego likes to believe that we are always in the right, that others are to blame for our feelings. But if we're serious about growth, we must take responsibility for our responses. The next time you feel yourself getting worked up, try asking yourself, what can this teach me? Instead of staying stuck in frustration, approach it with curiosity. What is this irritation showing you about yourself? Is there a deeper emotion or unmet need beneath the surface? Could this moment be triggering an old wound or insecurity? By asking these questions, you open the door to healing and growth. Rather than reacting on autopilot, you start to unravel the deeper reasons behind your emotions. In doing so, you strengthen your ability to move through life's challenges with peace and grace, just as Christ teaches us to do. When we bring a gentle, compassionate awareness to the rough edges of our hearts, we create space for healing and growth. It's as though we release the grip of old habits and open ourselves to new, wiser ways of living. This is the path of personal evolution, transforming the shadows within us into wisdom, into strength. As we do this inner work, something profound happens. We become less reactive to the world around us, less triggered by the actions or words of others. We learn to pause before responding, choosing how we act rather than letting our impulses take over. The petty annoyances and negativity that once seemed so overwhelming now begin to roll off us, like water sliding off a duck's back. This doesn't mean we become passive, letting others walk over us. In fact, real composure often demands setting clear boundaries and standing firm with kindness. When we are secure in ourselves, not swayed by others' opinions or actions, we can stand with quiet strength and confidence. Think of a parent who is able to lovingly set limits with their child without ever raising their voice. That's true inner strength. It says, I am in control here, and I won't be manipulated by tantrums or guilt. This principle applies in all our relationships, from family to work. Composure isn't about suppressing our emotions or needs. It's about expressing them with care in a way that's balanced and thoughtful. It's responding, not reacting. It's communicating openly without attacking or blaming. It's disagreeing without being disagreeable. When we cultivate this kind of calm presence, the effect on those around us is powerful. It creates an atmosphere of safety, allowing others to breathe easy and relax. It helps diffuse tension before it spirals into conflict. It shows emotional maturity, and in doing so, inspires others to meet us at that level. Think of the great leaders and change makers throughout history, the ones who inspired entire movements and brought people together for a common cause. One trait they all shared was the ability to stay focused, to remain composed under pressure. Their belief in their mission was so strong, it inspired everyone around them. Their courage in adversity uplifted and energized others. The truth is, we don't need a title or position to lead. We can all be leaders in our own lives by practicing the art of staying composed under pressure. We can all contribute to a world that is more peaceful and resilient by choosing to act as though nothing can truly shake us, not in a distant or disconnected way, but from a place of deep, unwavering strength. But how do we begin? How do we cultivate this inner calm in the midst of life's storms? The first step is to set the intention. Make a promise to yourself that you'll work on developing this sense of steadiness, this grace. Write it down, say it aloud. Let it sink into your heart and mind. From there, start noticing. Notice when the little things begin to irritate you. Notice your thoughts, your feelings. Watch them with curiosity, with kindness. And then take a deep breath. Allow that wave of frustration to pass through you without letting it sweep you away. Practice responding with perspective, with resilience. Remind yourself of the strength you carry within, the power you've built over time. Look for the lesson or the gift in every challenge. And instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the solution. It's essential to take care of yourself, to nurture both your body and spirit. When we're worn out, physically or emotionally, it's much harder to maintain peace within. Make sure you're getting enough rest, eating nourishing food, and giving your body the movement it needs. Set aside moments for the activities that fill your soul with joy. Those small things that renew your energy. The stronger you feel inside and out, the more capable you'll be of facing life's challenges with grace and resilience. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Seek out the company of those who inspire, encourage, and stand by you in both good and tough times. Look to role models who exemplify grace under pressure and strive to become that same source of strength for others. Young people especially need these examples as they grow, forming the habits and emotional resilience that will carry them through their lives. Remember, this journey is not about perfection. There will be days when you stumble, when stress or frustration overwhelms you and you lose your footing. That's okay. Forgive yourself for these moments. Take a lesson from them and gently realign with your intention. Each new day, each new moment offers a fresh chance to begin again. With time, you'll start to notice subtle shifts within yourself. The small frustrations that used to upset you will lose their sting. You'll navigate setbacks and obstacles with a greater sense of calm and flexibility, finding that you have more energy and mental space for what truly matters. This practice isn't about becoming indifferent or detached from life. It's about learning to master your own mind and emotions, cultivating the freedom to choose how you respond to whatever life brings your way. It's about embracing the quiet strength that lies within you, the unshakable peace that is yours by design, a reflection of God's grace. Take a deep breath, lift your head high, and step into your day with the intention to meet every moment with poise and patience. Trust that you have everything you need within you to handle life's ups and downs. Lean on that inner calm and let it guide you. In time, what once felt like an act, this ability to remain unbothered by life's trials, will evolve into a way of being. From this place of inner stillness, you'll find that there is no limit to the goodness and positive change you can create, both in your own life and in the lives of those around you.